We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sweetcast. I started early. Why did I start early? I don't know, because I guess I was here and I'm ready. So we're going. That's what we're doing. Uh, Crazy week, crazy 2 weeks. The interesting thing is I find crowdfunding numbers very interesting to look at and sort of analyzing. How it all works and what's going to happen and all that jazz. I find that fascinating. So if you do too, we're going to kind of go over some numbers just for fun. I'm no expert on analysis or statistics or anything like that, so don't get confused. I'm just going to speculate just like the rest of you are, but I do have some experience in crowdfunding. And so, take that whatever with a grain of salt. Besides that, I'm going to invite, let's see, we'll invite Charlie in for sure. Kind of like just random kind of picking and choosing, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to neglect my main group of guests, so we'll get them in too. Let me send Charlie a link. We can start talking about things. There we go. Sent him the link. In the meantime, Paul Riley is here. Hello, welcome, Paul. I better, you know what? Let's share this out on social media too, because sometimes notifications don't work, especially for my channel. I think it's everyone's channel, but it's like who was that? Reagan said, when it's a recession when your friend is out of a job, someone you know, it's a depression when you're out of a job. When my notifications don't get sent out, it's a disaster. When it's somebody else's I've heard about, then that's too bad for them. That's how it works. So let me share this on Twitter. There we go. Tweet. And speaking of politics, I don't really want to speak of politics. I've made it a concerted effort this year to not get into it on social media or especially in real life, like with family or anything like that. Such a mistake. Last time it was that 2016 election was just disastrous for personal relationships. Not that I was super into it, but everybody had an opinion on it. This time, I just want to pretend like, yeah, I don't care. I don't have an opinion. I'll just keep it to myself because that's all we need. All right, so let's see. Paul Riley is here. Hey, welcome. K Manifesto is here. He says, "What's up, Clint?" We got Mark. I'm going to say your last name wrong, so I'm just going to call you Mark. I got the notification. Sweet. I'm glad you got it. Sent it out on Twitter as well, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get a few more people showing up to the stream. I've got some news, some updates, I guess. I heard back from a printer. My goal is if I could get with a local printer that can do the same kind of quality that I was getting from API, then potentially I could save money. One, because I don't have to pay for freight. Freight's just an extra cost. It doesn't make your books any better. It just means you're paying for a lift gate. You're paying for them to ship you the thing on a pallet, all that jazz. It costs extra money and it doesn't actually go into the quality of the book. So I got a quote from a local printer. I got a few things printed from them before, but never like a full book. So I thought they did a good job. Their print quality was real nice. I decided to talk to that printer about specific quotes. They gave me a quote. It was looking pretty good. So last step is I actually want to go into the printer and bring copies of Downcast. I have to explain to them because they don't generally do comics, but they do books. I just said do. And I want to bring Downcast and I want to show it to them and just say, can you match this quality? Is this, they said they could do the exact trim size, no problem. So that's number one. That makes things so much better. Beyond that, it's just making sure that it looks quality. They do offset printing, they do digital printing, but I said, I really want offset because that's like, the standard. I realize digital printers, there's some really nice, like quality professional digital printers out there that can be very expensive, but I don't know. I just prefer offset just because then I know it's industry standard. They do offset and they said they can actually do surprisingly small print runs with offset. So far though, it looks like Fatal is not going to be a small print run I mean, relatively speaking, it'll be a small print run. But for me, it's going to be probably a bigger print run, probably my biggest print run yet. Downcast 1, I printed off 2,000 copies for an independent book. That's kind of a lot. You know, it's respectable. There's definitely bigger print runs out there. For Fatal, I've got to look at all the numbers for sure, but it's going to be at least 2,000, but I'm thinking more closer to 3,000 probably. So we'll see. If I ever do another cover, not necessarily on this campaign, but for future campaigns or any reasons like that, I'm also considering like it would be a good time to just get that out of the way and print it at the same time. That way it's finished and ready to go. If I wanted to do that down the road, a little bit of an investment, but I mean, it's a heck of a lot cheaper than getting the printers running again. So it's good news. The other thing though, is I want to check is if they can do what I'd love is for the one printer to print everything, trading cards, those fold out posters that everyone is going to be getting, the books themselves, everything. And if I could do that and bring down costs, that would be great. But I just don't have to pay for shipping. I can drive over there. I've got a van, you know, I could take a few trips if I need to, or rent a truck from the Home Depot. That would still be cheaper than freight, you know, especially from China or something. From many of these publishers are shipping all the way from China. So I think that's a good idea. Let's see. Identity Crisis just subscribed. Thank you so much. Yeah, please make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell for notifications. We talk crowdfunding, comics news, industry news primarily. Hello. Fan, I don't know if I've seen you here before. Welcome, Fan. Backer Tracker, is it as good as Trapper Keeper? That's debatable, honestly. Eric McIntyre's here. Hello. Hey. All right, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Backer Tracker. We'll get over here. So let's look at, I think I'm going to shift this around. Graveyard Shift. Speaking of shift, Graveyard Shift just ended last night with a lot of backers. This is not the full number raised, by the way. It ended up being $265,000. That is an awful lot of money. That's a ton of money. So keep in mind, Backer Kit has this tool called Backer Tracker. It tracks things. It's not super accurate. It's going to be accurate after you're finished, for the most part, with the campaign. But what good does that do you? The point of it is that it can give you some kind of forecast of where your campaign could land. And so I'm getting distracted by the chat. And so this is just the ideas. We'll look at this and sort of analyze metrics, perhaps, to figure out where you're going to go. All right. Let's see. I'm just going to look at the chat one more time. Paul Riley says, quality of Downcast was great. The pages are so sturdy and high quality. I kept thinking I had accidentally turned 2 pages, but it was just 1 page. Great format. So some people don't like the thick pages, like they're too thick, and they might be too thick. So I'm thinking about, that's why in the stretch goal here, when we hit $70,000, the goal was that we're upgrading, you're going to get upgraded paper stock, but I'm not sure. So on Downcast, it was 100-pound paper stock, which is about, I think, as thick as interior pages can get or ought to get within reason. That is thick. Those are some thick pages. It's nice because they are quality. You can tell they're quality. The downside is that they're thick and you think that you turned 2 pages when you've only turned 1. So I'm considering moving things down a weight to like 80-pound, which is still thick paper, but it is not quite as thick as 100-pound. It's not a matter of like 100, like the thicker the better necessarily. It's just, it might actually feel better, to readers because it's not so stiff, perhaps. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd be interested in hearing your feedback. 100-pound worked though. It was great. It is definitely quality. I have come for the wisdom. All right. Well, yeah, we've got the disclaimer at the beginning of this. Let's see. Metal Movies and Brewskis. Hello. Ale Comics Gate Strong 2020. Here we go. You talk comics and crowdfunding. What about crowdfunded comics? If so, have you ever heard of Fatal? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. He knows how it's done. Hell Clint, Hell Fatal. Hello, Hell. Congrats on Fatal crossing 63,000. Yeah, so this is what we're going to talk about is strategy. This is mid-campaign strategy. And so we can do this together. It's the hardest part of a campaign. So that's exactly what we're going to go over today. And I might be killing time just a little bit because as soon as we get more people in, they're going to be asking what we covered. So we got just under 40 people now. We'll get more. Moot Point is here. Hello, Sweet Meister. Hello. I love it thick. The 100-pound stock. There's no reason we can't continue doing that because I've done it. It just strikes everyone's like, this is really thick paper. So I appreciate it. I might, I don't know. Most people don't know what paper weight is. And so they're not going to have any idea. But again, if you have Downcast, you'll know, you'll have a good frame of reference. Statistical Zero. Hello. Great cartoonist. Make it 300 pound. That would be like cardboard, essentially. I think that would be real thick. Let's see. I think 80 pound is the thickest a comic should be. That's sort of what I was kind of thinking. 100 pound is kind of overkill, but it is nice though. It's almost like having a hardback book. So yeah, we can do that. Hello, everybody. Razmaz. I want my pages to be thick as a brick. All right. Let's see. Ethan used what felt like a lightweight paper cover stock for the interior of Unforgettable Tales. Those had me thinking the same. Yeah, they're super thick pages. I'd have to compare them to really see. I would bet that they're probably 100 pound as well. The difference is though that because his is stapled, it's saddle stitched, the thickness of the paper is more pronounced because it kind of has to curve, if that makes sense. When you're talking about 100-pound paper stock, but it has a binding like a square bound, perfect bound spine, things lay flat. So it doesn't matter so much that it's thick. It's just when you turn the pages, you feel like you're gonna, you're cracking open, I don't know, like a thick tome or something. You're trying not to ruin anything. Let's see. Personally, 70 pound is the best filling paperweight. Yeah, I mean, it's 70 pound is good. R is here. Hello. Let's see. Yeah, and here's the point. Thinner pages are easier to turn. That's why I was hoping like 80 would be like a good kind of middle ground where you have, it's nice. You can tell it's a really nice book, but it's readable too. I don't know. That must affect the cost when mailing books out. Yes, it in fact does in a surprising way. Each one of those sheets of paper adds up. And what happens is you can fit fewer books per box. They come in 30-pound boxes. They try to not make them heavier than that. And then you can only fit, so many books. So for instance, like Downcast 1, it was something like 87, I think. It was a weird number, 87 books, probably 86 books per box that they had fit in. For Downcast 2, they could only fit, because it was more pages, they could only fit in 60, I think, something like that. And so therefore you need more books. They shipped Downcast 2, even though the print run was a little bit smaller, they shipped it on 2 pallets. So that affected shipping costs. So I don't know. I find all of this interesting. So it can matter. All right, cool. And I think I saw, Peter's here. So hello, everyone. Hey, Sweetcast. Hey, Peter. Cool. All right. Sorry, one more question here. What are the BPRD graphic novel pages printed on? They're definitely a thinner paperweight. It has a lot of pages. I would say I'm just guessing, but I don't even think they're even 70 pound. I would guess that paper is probably lighter. They just seem thin. Maybe they're 70. That could be. I doubt it. They seem kind of thin. Not necessarily a bad way, but just you get a lot of pages for how big the book is. And I don't know, they turned easier. Cool. I'm just trying to catch up on everything. I like that the chat's moving. All right. I'm not gonna be able to keep up too much now. So, all right. Welcome everyone. So we're looking at backer kit. First, we're gonna look at graveyard shift. Graveyard shift did fantastic. What did he make? Like 40 grand last night in like an 8-hour live stream, 6 to 8 hours. I can't remember how long it was. It was a ton of money. It is insane how mobilized everyone was to support Graveyard Shift. So congratulations to John Malin. Keep in mind, this backer tracker is not up to date. It usually takes like a day behind, but I think in some cases, especially when a campaign ends, it's more like 3 or 4 days behind. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess it updates the numbers or something. So Graveyard Shift ended up somewhere around $265,000. I think he had. Oh, let me just get there so that I'm not. Explore comics. Is it even going to show me? Because the campaign's closed. It is. It's there. So he's still number one on trending, even though the campaign is not in demand. It's totally closed. He ended up with 3,319 backers. Wow. And $265,000. So that's what he raised. These are the official numbers. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right. So yeah, this is not up to date. All right. So trending here. Most campaigns you'll see kind of do like this. And then sometimes there's a spike at the end, and sometimes there's not a spike at the end. The spike at the beginning is certain. That's the one thing that you can count on if you built up any kind of momentum and people know about your book. If you don't have a spike at the beginning, you have a major problem. That's like the worst case scenario. If you don't have a beginning campaign first day spike, that's real bad, really bad. The end of the campaign spike, you don't always get one, or sometimes you get a little one. I think most people are going to get a little one at the least. In this case, he got a massive one that we're not seeing here because, again, backer tracker is not caught up yet. So it's going to probably be up something like, let's see, 300,000, something like there. I don't know if you can see the mouse. A very big spike at the end. So yeah, insane how well that went. And you can kind of see here a little bit of the spike. But again, this is not caught up. I don't know why I don't get. I swear Zach looked at this and he had the full version here with the last day on, but I don't. I'm not that cool apparently. So it spiked. So the question always comes up. Okay, you launch your crowdfunding campaign, you jump over to backer tracker, and you look at the trend, and it'll tell you where you're trending. And the problem is, it's always wrong. It's not right. I think the most accurate that it could be is a week and a half. I used to say a week, but I actually think it's longer. I think it's like 10 days into the campaign. You could go to backer tracker and it's going to have a more accurate idea of how much you'd make. Even then, though, that can change because any kind of spike that you get in sales is going to change the outlook. So here's Fatal right now. We're looking at this says we have 1,211 backers, which is probably close. 1,213, and that's because this one actually did update probably because it wasn't at the end of the campaign. We didn't extend it, in the last 24 hours, so it's pretty well up to date. So we have the mid-campaign spike. Generally, this would be the end of the campaign spike, but we specifically had the thing go for 30 days, and then we specifically extended it. And there was no secret. I'm sure there were people out there that were fooled. And that's, I think, like the algorithm, yes, it will send out emails to people telling them that the campaign is about to end. Maybe they don't watch streams. They're not watching YouTube videos. They're not caught up on everything. And so, of course, they're not going to see that we're actually going to extend the campaign. So it kind of is, I guess, I don't want to say tricking people, but it's reminding people that the campaign's ending. They back it because they think it's over, and then we extend it. Okay. I think it's perfectly fine. It's a good way to do it. This is the first time I've done it. But what I'm interested to see is how this affects the end of the campaign spike. Because the question is this the little bump we see here in the middle a percentage of the end spike that we would be getting? Or is this an additional spike? You know what I mean? With those same number of backers have waited till the last day to back if they knew that the last day was actually here. That is the question. I don't know. So right now it says that we are trending. I don't know what to do with this information. It says we're trending to $95,000. That's sort of the midpoint. Low point is 77,000 and the high point is 113,000. Those are really big numbers. I don't know how well I can trust Backer Tracker right now because we did extend the campaign. So now it's kind of changed its metrics basically that it's measuring off of. So it's counting this bump here and projecting it into the sales. So what I would suspect is that if we waited another week since we extended the campaign, we would probably get a more accurate number. It'd get a better reading of how well on average we're getting backers. Obviously, all of that could change if if I was as good as John Malin at getting a spike at the end of his campaign, because his spike was insane. It was crazy how many backers he got, how much money he got on that last day. So that's projections. So Backer Tracker, I would say the most people ask me all the time. I've seen so many broken hearts over you launched your campaign and on day 2 or day 3, you've discovered Backer Tracker exists. You look up your campaign and you say, hey, it looks like I'm going to make $60,000, $80,000 on my little campaign. I know that that's not true. It's not going to happen. And then the week passes by, things slow down, and then Backer Kit is a little bit more accurate. So if you're running a crowdfunding campaign, do not look at these numbers and think that they're accurate 1, 2, 3 days, and probably even a week into the campaign. You're going to have to wait for it to see what your average, grindy day haul is going to be. And Charlie is joining us. Hello, Charlie. How's it going?
What up, homie? I'm running a little behind. I was what were we doing? Reading bedtime stories. Everybody was acting up, and then hopped on. I was falling asleep. I fell asleep reading the bedtime story, so I figured I've got to wake up somehow. So I got on the treadmill and I watched a little more of Dune. And because Kelsey, did you see Kelsey's video? Maybe 3 days ago.
It's on my list of. I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it though. His videos are always interesting. What happened? What was it?
His video made no sense, and I thought, all right, I'm biting the bullet. I'm finally going to watch this movie, and I started watching it and thought, Kelsey's video makes more sense than this ridiculous movie. Dude makes no sense. And I posted and said, dude, your video makes as little sense as Dune does. And a couple people, Shay the Red, Kelsey, started talking about it. Camel Moon said he didn't like it. And I don't know, I'm 3/4 of the way in now, and I'm thinking, I haven't been this lost since I tried to watch The English Patient while I was high. And I also missed the beginning of The English Patient. I was in the movie theater, and I went in with a bunch of friends, and there might have been smoking of things beforehand. And they went in before me, and I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. When I get back, tell me what I miss. So I come back to my seat, and I see they've got this burned guy, and I say, did I miss anything of The English Patient? It's also because you know how old I am. I was watching The English Patient in the theater. And they said, no, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. And so the whole movie, I don't know if anyone's seen The English Patient. The whole movie, I was thinking, when are we going to find out how this goofball got burned? And I think that's the big secret to the movie. In the end, we're going to find out how he got burned. Now, the first scene, really trying really hard not to swear. The first scene, they show him get burned. But for the whole movie, I was waiting for him to reveal how he was a pilot or something, how he got burned.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving the theater with my friends, and I'm saying, man, they never showed us how he got burned. I was so confused for the whole movie. Nothing made sense. And the girl said, that was the first scene. He goes down in an airplane and blows up. I said, when I left the theater, I said, tell me if I miss anything. you, I came back and you said, "Yeah, nothing happened." A plane crash? They left out the plane crash. So I was very confused for the English Patient, and I also saw. So Dune was. It's at least that confusing, only stranger and more European. Oddly enough, I don't know. Have you ever seen? They're all in these weird high collar World War I gear. They're like Prussians or Russians or
Yeah.
some Eastern Northern European weirdos. And I was also confused when I saw. Now, The English Patient was a bad movie that I didn't understand. I was also high and saw The Big Lebowski in the movie theater and was completely lost. Just completely lost.
See, I would
And
have thought that would be like the high movie to watch, but
that would make more sense.
You'd think so.
It was only years later, not years later, a little while later, I watched The Big Lebowski at home and thought, oh, this is the greatest movie of all time. And then I rewatched The English Patient years later, thinking, now maybe this will also be a good movie. The English Patient is awful. It's just atrocious, and everybody loved it. I was so confused at that part of my life.
How does this happen? There were a few. Have you ever seen Benjamin Button?
No, I avoided that like the plague.
You're not missing. You're not missing out. We were like, I don't know, it was what, Thanksgiving time, I think, the year it came out, and everyone was like, oh, Oscar buzz, like this show is gonna be the bee's knees, you know. And so we were just like, I don't know, it just seems, is that it? Just the dude was born old and gets young, or you know, the opposite. Didn't make any sense. And so we watched it because of all the critical acclaim, and the movie was just terrible. It was so boring. And the whole time I was trying to think, what point are they trying to make? Like, is there some like deep point here? I'm convinced that there wasn't. It was just, here's a movie that's weird enough of an idea that we're going to go with it. And yeah, I don't know why so many people liked that movie. I'll never understand that.
Kate Blanchett looked hot.
yeah, Kate Blanchett. Yeah,
she's always hot.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a strange show. Speaking of things we don't understand, we're looking at backer tracker things. I think this stuff is interesting, and it seems like live streams are usually talking about current events, and there's not really much going on. But I find it really interesting to look at crowdfunding numbers, projections.
What do you mean nothing's going on?
Okay.
This is Satan's anus for all things going on. Everything is happening at once.
We could have gone with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or we could have done politics, I guess. I meant in comics. There's not a lot of industry news right now.
Oh, I wouldn't know any industry news if it dropped in the toilet behind me. I would turn around and say, "Wow, that was industry news. That's fantastic. I'm glad I wiped." Because this is filthy. That stuff's filthy. Shane gets upset, and he should, because it's filthy business. That
everybody's talking about Shane's rant. I did not see it, and I'm kind of disappointed.
I was listening to it. It was fantastic. And not only that is happening. Hitch is going to jump in. Brian Hitch. Everybody's upset about that or happy about that, and you're getting bad mouthed on streams, and Peter is getting bad mouthed on streams, and
that happens far too often. I'm like,
I just learned because I used to hear Zach talk about Captain Cummings, and he was always here and there about Captain Cummings, and I thought, I don't know who that is, and if he's bad mouthing people, then it's just as well.
There are a lot of, the thing is, there's so much history that it's like at some point you just have to not keep up. You know what I mean? It's so irrelevant. At the same time, though, it'll become relevant. And this is the biggest struggle I had, is like when I got into things, then you'd hear about, wait, what is, it's like you'd have to devote all this time to researching. Wait, Vox Day, what are really his stances? Oh wait, who's this guy or that guy? What's this fight that happened before? But it just gets, it's so much effort.
I mean, it's especially because there's also the website called Vox, and there's the saying called Vox Day, Vox Populi. The Latin.
Yeah,
I myself don't speak Latin. Do you?
No.
They should teach. That should be a requisite in the Latter-day Saints. They should say we're all going to learn Latin.
learn Latin. Okay, yeah.
Just to set ourselves apart. We're all happy and we all make great families. And now we all know Latin.
Yeah.
And they should require, I mean, just to make you guys just the apex of happiness and the old timey stuff. Everybody learns an instrument.
Some families. Everybody's you got to learn how to play the piano. I never did. I learned how to play the guitar, but that was just I wanted to do that. So
yeah, I learned guitar too, but guitar isn't nearly as useful as if you walk into a place and there's a piano and this rich family has invited you over for Hors d'oeuvres and you don't know how to say it either, and then you sit down and say, "Would you like me to, entertain?"
Right.
And you sit down and tickle the ivories, and then they say, "Here's our oldest daughter. She's beautiful, and now you get to marry her because you can tickle the ivories, and you can entertain people, entertain yourselves." There's certain things you should learn. You should learn an instrument. You want to be a tough guy? You should learn You should learn some kung fu. I know no kung fu.
Some kind of fighting. Yeah.
Some martial arts, and how to shoot pool. Those three skills together. Play piano. I wish I knew how to do.
I was gonna say a trade. That's one thing. Like
no. That won't get you laid.
Yeah, it'll get you paid. But yeah.
There you go. That might be. That'll be important down the line.
It maybe, who knows? It depends, I guess, on what your plan A is.
So those are the three things I wish I knew. What are the three things you wish you knew?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew how to draw. Seriously, like today I just kept thinking, man, if I knew how to draw. There's so much. I just feel like I could communicate so much better with just drawing something, It
is useful. I've built my life around it.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting at a bar and you're young and you just draw a girl in a napkin and then you go hand it to her, here, look what I did. You got a conversation.
It impresses.
Yes. It impressed my wife. She wouldn't talk to me.
And Warhammer. That's a useful one, I guess.
What's Warhammer?
It's a game. When we talked about that last time, maybe, I don't remember. All the streams get mixed together.
Yes, I'm very lost in all the talking.
Yeah,
it's a lot of talking.
I know. Are you feeling it? Are you getting burned out? I have a stream scheduled for tomorrow night and one for Wednesday night. It wears on you, huh?
It really. My wife was watching Trump speak. He's flying around the country, speaking at podiums, and then high-fiving people and not getting COVID, and then passing laws and executive orders in the daytime. Then he sleeps 4 hours a night. Then he wakes up and he does it again. And I'm thinking, I sit at a table and I draw. I read to my kids, and then I talk to Clint. This is exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crap out before him or Biden.
Yeah, I believe it. That's why I like it. I don't know. You don't, and we've talked about this a little bit too, but the whole machine of crowdfunding, it does not get enough respect, fear, even. I don't know, as to how much work it is. And so that's why I do think it's nice that we have, sort of like assignments divvied up. You know what I mean? So if you're drawing, you know what I mean, tomorrow, if the rest of the week you don't want to stream, that's okay. Like that's cool with me. You're doing really important stuff. So,
well, I can always sit here and draw and then chime in and crack wise and insult people.
Yeah,
and tell everyone. I'll tell them you have bad taste in pizza and your whole life is a waste of time. I don't know who I would say that to.
It could come up naturally. You never know.
I'll tell people your beliefs are silly to me. That's my favorite one. You can just say that to people and they get upset.
Right, because everyone has beliefs.
You don't have to know them. Your beliefs are silly to me. And then
right.
Say, hey, take it easy, man. We just met.
It's true.
Ooh.
Pete says, I have 1 to 3 streams a day for the next 2 weeks at least. Yeah, man, I feel you. I don't think I was always, it was 1 to 2 streams. Now we're down to pretty well 1 stream a day, but I still get requests all the time for streams, which is nice. But yeah, it gets old. So I've always done a 30-day campaign. So now doing a 60-day campaign is like, whew, buckle up. So we'll see how it goes, if it's worth it. So far, I don't know. It's just so hard to tell because this campaign is just crushing it. But you see this, Charlie? Trending. Now it's got a new trending line, and I don't know how accurate this trending line is at all.
Well,
because,
any model is it's not accurate. It's just an idea of what might happen.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Whether it's deaths from the Wuhan flu, or how much ice cream you'll eat if you stop at every ice cream station from here to Disneyland. It's just a model, and the models are projections, and nobody's got a crystal ball. Think of all the polls that people take. It's all nothing, because everything's different. Every single outcome is unknown. You can just write the little 0 with the line through it. It's actually all unknown. But this is it's a probability curve, I suppose.
Yeah, and so the point I was making earlier on in the stream is that I think too many people rely on backer tracker to be accurate, and they hang their hopes on it. But we've got 2 examples that are totally break backer tracker completely. One would be Graveyard Shift, in that he way overshot what backer tracker thought he would get because of that insane. Did he make $40,000 in an 8-hour stream, something like that? It's a lot of money.
Is that what yesterday did?
I think so. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
He was at, let's see if this date is accurate. He went from 239. Oh, so maybe he went to 239 to 265. So more like 30,000 ish, 20 something, close. Yeah, that's a huge spike, which backer tracker would not be able to pick up. At the same time, Scott Snyder, he had the initial spike and it just flatlined for the rest of the journey. So that to me, those are 2 extremes, and that's why I guess they give you a spread here, but I don't know how accurate any of this is, honestly. But it has us trending toward 95,000, low of 77,000, and a high of 13,000. Again, we'll check this. We'll timestamp this.
A high of 113,000?
113,000 is the high that it has predicted here.
But what's the middle?
95,000.
All right. I'll take those odds.
Those look great. I'm interested to check this next week and see what it says, because I'm gonna guess it's gonna be completely different.
yeah.
That's how it flies.
Just whatever you feed in, and everybody's predictions change day to day, and yada yada yada. Nobody knows anything. Just keep plugging away, keep trying your hardest, and you and I might both walk out tomorrow and be hit by trucks, and we'll be dead. And then my cat and your wife could stream every night, and maybe that would be the biggest hit of all time online, and it would go up to 7 million.
Yeah,
Unlikely.
But it's technically possible, right? Jasper Plan 9 says backer tracker doesn't factor in CG shill streams. Oh, the power. It is astounding. Even on, little old Sweetcast, like, I don't know, like, we've had those days where we've streamed here. It was the 48-hour stream or something, and I was kind of surprised. Like, it does pick up. You get backers. It's here's my theory on how that works. Regular videos, for me personally, because I get more views on my regular videos, those work better at sort of spreading the word, and I get more people used to the idea of backing. But streams, you're focused on a smaller group of people, and they're much more likely to back because it's kind of fun to see it move real time. I don't know, probably a few other reasons too. it's just fun. It's social pressure. I don't know. There's some immediacy to it. So they're super useful, and I'm kind of shocked that more mainstream comics people aren't doing this. You're good. Why isn't like DC Comics? They have their YouTube channel. If they did a stream or something, like even just straight up called a telethon for any of these crowdfunding campaigns, that would be huge. Well, for Scott Snyder's case, it could have been Image Comics. They do have a YouTube channel. They never stream, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, is his book going to be published by Image?
Yeah, so he has I think it's called New Jacket Press. That is his official imprint of Image Comics. So it is under Image Comics, but now he's made it, I guess, to the big leagues and has his own imprint.
I'm gonna go get ice. Do you want me to mute it?
You're fine. You're fine.
Okay. All right. Keep on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so those streams do fantastic, and I'm shocked. Everybody's so against it outside of Comicsgate. For what reason? I don't know. They think that streams are racist or something.
Everything's racist. Clint,
everything's racist. That's the way it goes. That's
Remember,
a little louder than I thought.
Sorry. What was it in the Team America movie? 88888888888.
I haven't actually seen the whole movie, but I've seen clips of the I'm Matt Damon, like the making fun of celebrities thing.
Oh, it was brilliant. FAG.
They don't.
The Film Actors Guild.
Film Actors Guild. I forgot about that.
It's the greatest movie of all time. But in it, they could just sing that song now. Holy smokes! They could sing that song now with racist. Everything's racist.
Yeah, it's true.
Or take the Lego movie and change it. Everything is racist.
Yeah.
Everything's not cool.
They need to.
You're part of a stream.
They need to make fun of celebrities more often. It's kind of sad. Like there's not enough of that happens to put them in check. So Pete says we're 3 backers away from unlocking first issue bundle as a main perk. Tinseltown number 2 has been unlocked as an add-on and as a bonus for select backers. That's great. Yeah, I know that you're funded. Alterna's campaign is funded right now.
Congratulations, Peter Simeti, the man who got here first in the Wild West of the indie scene. And Pete, is Pete out there? Can you hear me? What is the skill you wish that you had your whole life?
That's the question of the day. The one skill, not 3. You got to narrow it down to 1 that you need.
Yeah. Maybe Pete can do all the things that I wish I could do, and maybe we could trade.
That's true. Yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side. That happens. Right. The Christian Nomad says, Clint, watch the last 10 minutes of Graveyard Shift closeout stream. Last night they raised $4 or $5 grand in the last 7 minutes or something crazy. Wow. Yeah, I was on the stream for a bit, but I know it just went on. It was a long stream. Mm-hmm. Jasper says I backed Sean Gordon Murphy, I backed Snyder and Daniel. Who's Daniel? I backed CGers, I back Alterna. We need to stop bashing one another. Rage streams are getting old. Oh, rage streams. I don't generally do rage streams. I don't think so, but I don't know. I guess I get what you mean. I think there's a difference between friendly competition, like pulling up a campaign. Hey, we want to beat this campaign. For instance, I've got that other. What's the highest crowdfunded comic book in Utah? Because I had to pick something, and so guy. Yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything to me. I've got nothing against. Was it Jake Parker? But it's just sort of a goal. So I don't know. For me, there's friendly competition, and then there's also rage.
Sean Gordon Murphy was semi-friendly, but then didn't he kind of have to back out and badmouth Comicsgate, and then hasn't Snyder said something not so nice about Comicsgate, and everybody.
Sean Gordon Murphy didn't. I don't think he ever said anything negative, but he bent the knee is what he did. So he basically I don't know, capitulated. Scott Snyder has said in the past, like insinuating that we're a bunch of hateful people or something. So yeah, I don't know, for what it's worth. Again, I take that with a grain of salt, but all right. $2 super chat. Thank you very much from Metal Movies and Brewskis. Says Back Fatal and Butch Cleaver, a Gothic Western. All right. Is that on Indiegogo as well? Butch Cleaver, a Gothic Western. Check it out, everybody.
That sounds pretty rad. And he's got the skull and what was that last thing? A coffin? Or a piece of chocolate? I couldn't actually say.
A crutch.
No, it's a coffin. I thought it was a candy bar.
Oh, coffin. Yeah, I was like, a crutch. That doesn't look right. Yeah, a coffin. That's exactly what it is. Calling Sean Gordon Murphy and Snyder a cuck for being nice. Come on. I don't think I called him a cuck, but I don't know. I'm happy for them to do their thing, and I don't think I've ever rage stream against either of them. But I do have opinions in that offense. Sometimes some of these people, not Sean Gordon Murphy or Scott Snyder, but I'll make a video and then they'll contact me and say, I saw your video. But usually they just have points to make, and it's not like, I don't know, I'm generally not mean. So I don't know. It's all good. You guys back whoever you want.
Get mean, Clint. Just start punching people in the face everywhere you go. Just walking down the street. Pow!
I would say I'd say it helped me sell books, except I think it would be fake, contrived, and then people would notice. That would be the problem.
They would notice the sudden strange change in Clint's.
What happened? Man, he's like keying cars and breaking windows. What's the deal?
Well, did you ever hear there is a big change? There Sam Kinison, as a young person, was friendly, nice, went to school, good guy, and then he was a minister or whatever version of minister or priest or whatever he was. And then he got in a car accident and had brain damage, and he turned into screaming crazy Sam Kinison. So you're one slight head injury if you fall and hit your head on the side of the Ninja Turtle arcade game, and you stand up and start screaming and yelling at people and telling them they're all horrible instead of being forgiving and kind. It's right around the corner. You could Jekyll and Hyde.
It's true. Have you heard of what do they call it? Accidental savant syndrome, or it's a real thing. Well, people will get brain damage, and then all of a sudden they know. Like this one dude, math. He was a mathematical genius. After he got jumped, he got mugged and hit in the back of the head. Yeah, I watched a little video on YouTube about it like yesterday.
That's preposterous.
There have been other people that have had brain damage, head injuries, I should say, and then they've been like a great artist all of a sudden when they had no.
Can you show me the picture of this guy getting hit in the head?
Well, I mean, it was in the 90s when he got hit in the head, but I'll show you. Let me find the video.
No, look this guy up. Because and then he's good at math. That implies that the information is back there, and you just have to hit it hard enough to jar it loose, like Rain Man.
Yeah, so in his case, so here's exactly the video right here. Meet the Accidental Genius. This is it. I guess I can post the link, huh? I can't show it because I will get a copyright strike. But let me post this if you guys are interested. But this is great research for writing. I always get into these weird random instances of things. But this guy, it's not that he knew mathematical equations. It's that he would see, trying to show like they did some visuals.
Yeah, that one guy, he didn't look like he'd be good at math. What did he have, the cut-off sweatshirt?
Yeah, well, first he started out with the mullet.
The mullet. That does not say good at math. Right there. That says not good at math.
He was a bodybuilder, apparently.
Oh, what the?
He did, he's just trying to pick up chicks and stuff. This is him now, and he's a math genius. How did that work? He got jumped in a bar, but they said he could see, so he would see math in geometry I'm trying to see. They had like pictures, like this kind of stuff.
That's
He
cool.
would just see everywhere, and he didn't know how to describe it. So he went back to school to math, and he was trying to describe what happened. And anyway, fascinating. So yeah, there's the link. I know I'm sending people away from the stream to watch the video, but it is pretty interesting.
Getting hit in the head can make you good at math. Maybe all those years when I was doing my homework at home and not good at math, and my father would hit me in the back of the head. That's what he knew. He knew the secret. Well, my father never hit me in the back of the head.
It also gave him OCD, like really bad, and it gave him depression. So there's that too. but he was good at math.
That's quite a trade-off.
Yeah. So I think he's well adjusted now.
Although it did give him better taste in haircuts.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. That's significantly better. He looks like a math professor now.
Right. It's instead of a redneck bodybuilder with a mullet. With mullet. A mullet that,
he had like steps carved into the side too.
Let's be honest. You or I would be thrilled. We'd jump at the chance to have that killer mullet. At this point. I'll take it.
I know. Yeah, I would take the mullet over what I'm rocking currently.
I'll take any haircut you've got. What have you got?
Yeah. What is this? Sketch therapist says math can be depressing in this world. Nothing adds up. Yeah, that's
right, Sketch.
That's why I went into writing and not math. All right, so I was going to show here Downcast. Well, we're just looking at trends. This, I don't know, we're just analyzing numbers, but here you can see this is a good example of one that just went on like this. So this was technically the end of the campaign, though, to be fair. So I actually had a bump. This is in demand, and that's kind of what you expect in demand. It's just slow trickle of sales.
Maybe we could get sketch therapy. Are you still there? Can you tell me 1 or 3 skills that you think you would love to have? Just 3 helpful, super rad skills. Mine were Kung Fu, piano playing, and pool, billiards.
Most important.
Those are good skills. That, and I've always wanted to jump off of a boat with a knife. You know, one of those Rambo knives, serrated, with a knife in my teeth, and dive into the water off of a boat with a knife in my teeth.
For no reason. Not that you're going to use it, but are you going to go down there and stab something?
I'm sure I'm gonna stab some sort of vicious sea creature, and then cut the boat loose so that we could get out of there. You know, yeah. I'll cut right through the chain because I'm so good at Kung Fu.
Yeah, it's the only
part of.
Yeah.
That's part of Kung Fu, right? I can cut right through a chain and an anchor.
Have you ever seen One Punch Man?
No.
Okay. It's an anime. I'm not super into anime, but resident antagonist brings up, I'm going to say his name wrong. Saitama. It's One Punch Man.
Oh, okay.
It's hilarious because it's making fun of the way that anime is, I guess. That's anyway. He works out so hard that all his hair falls out. He's a superhero. And his secret, everybody's trying to learn his secret. He's so overpowered. All he does is one punch and he'll kill any giant, like Godzilla-sized monster. And his secret is he does like push-ups every day, sit-ups every day, and he jogs every day. It's just like the most it's a pretty funny anime if you're ever interested.
Does he practice the one punch over and over again?
It's like for the most part he's just wandering. He's bored. Like he's just not interested. He's so overpowered, there's no challenge. So he's not really practicing. So then a monster will come up and he's just like, okay. And it does all this destruction, and then he just punches. I don't know. You'd have to watch it. It takes a few episodes, I think, to get into, but it's pretty funny.
He doesn't, because Bruce Lee used to say he wasn't scared of a guy who practiced 1,000 different kicks. Right? Bruce Lee said he would be scared of a guy that practiced one type of kick 1,000 times. So is that what One Punch Man is? He did one type of punch 1,000 times every day.
Yeah,
Why?
you you would think so. They say the same thing about guns too. Like, it's be afraid of the man that only has one gun, not the man that has a lot of guns, because he knows that one gun really well. Yeah, yeah. 100. It was 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and runs like 10 miles every day. That's all it is.
Wait, that is a good regimen. I was doing 100 push-ups every day. I wasn't doing the 100 sit-ups and 10 miles. Who has time for 10 miles a day? I mean, how do you have a job? 10 miles a day, that takes, I don't know.
10 miles a day? I know I'm not moving.
It takes
10
a couple
miles a day.
hours to run 10 miles, even if you're
Yeah.
fast. I barely squeeze in when I was running every day. 2 miles. 2 miles. There, put that on the screen. That's I like that. Oh, I still like this image. Usually I make an image and then a couple months later I go, oh, I hate that. I still like this.
Yeah.
It's really not done. I'm gonna go back in. Vaughn, right when we showed this to anybody, Vaughn had exactly the right criticism, which was add more lights to the city back there and more effects on the lower right where Flynn is blasting this
Alien's face off.
alien says, I always want to say MF's head off. Take a step back.
I appreciate the effort. I'm trying to make a PG stream because everybody has an R or plus stream, and so I want to get that audience.
You're doing great. Everyone around my kids. I say you can curse all you want, just don't say like around my kids. Just don't say like.
Yeah.
And nobody can control it, and I think nobody has discipline. Get your discipline in order. So I will do what I accuse other people of not being able to do, and I will have discipline, and I will. It's actually sort of fun.
You're doing great.
The other night when I kept telling you that this guy right here, I was definitely going to shave my pussy.
Yeah,
it's sort of a fun game to
get as close as you can.
Yeah, to put my kitty paws right up to the line, and what's acceptable. It's all context.
Yeah.
So they used to say that the baseball player could he's out there he's juggling balls out in the field, but they couldn't say he's scratching his.
Oh.
Same words, right? All context.
Right. Exactly.
So and I used to love Howard Stern's show because Howard Stern was always in this high wire act where it was, look at what they did. Look, well, they were being clever to get these things through the censors and out to the audience and terrestrial radio. And then they went to, what are the things that go around the earth?
Satellite radio.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they could say anything they wanted. And to me, that was sort of, it relieved the tension. And all the drama's gone. You relieve all the tension, all the drama's gone, and then the story's over.
Right. Then, it's not as I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. There's in restriction, and I have no problem with there being R-rated streams. I just nobody's doing a PG-rated stream, so I want to try it. I'm doing it. I know there are people that watch it.
I'm happy to do it with it. It's it actually adds a layer of let's do this.
Yeah.
I love it. I actually love it.
Yeah. No, it's fun. Let's look at Fatal. So right now, we've crossed 63,000. We got to talk about the stretch goals because people were asking about. I sent out an update and everything, but people are still asking. I'm sure they miss them. There's a lot of updates that have come out from crowdfunding campaigns the past week. It's been insane. My inbox is just full of them. So I'm sure it's been that way for a lot of people. But we've crossed 63,000. We have a stretch goal for 70,000, and we're just going to keep pushing and try to get to that 70,000. We're back into mid-campaign sort of the grind, and we're fighting for every backer until we hopefully get that end of the campaign bump again. That'll help us push us over the finish line. So in this case, I'll just scroll down here.
Well,
show you the update.
You just told us the projected imaginings of Backer Tracker. One
At
was
least today.
one was 113, right? Why don't
Yeah.
we? And everybody keeps asking about this. Why don't we put it out there a little bit? Peg it out there. I don't know, that there be a few more pages or something at 115. You want to say
115
something? You
more
want to say
pages.
that? Yeah, a
Oh,
couple more
sure, we can.
pages, something like
Honestly,
that.
it's up to you. Yeah, what's the number for you? 113 is the extra pages number.
Maybe, I don't know. I said
110,
115 just to make it
150. Sorry, 115. Okay.
semi-even.
Okay.
113 is,
I know
unless you want to
that.
make it totally irregular.
No, I was gonna say, can we make it a nice round number? 115 is fine. So I can put that stretch goal out there. So 115. That's what everybody wants, is more pages in the book. We're totally willing to do that. It's up to Charlie when that happens. So yeah, if we hit 115, I got to remember that 115, we will add more pages to the book, more story pages to the book.
Does that sound reasonable? I don't know how many pages, because everything's a question of time, right? So
We also got to make it work within the story too. You know what I mean? So like yeah, we'll figure it out.
we have more story than, I mean, we were gonna X out the one. I thought you were
Right.
I
But
think you had a
where
good point with Xing out the flirting scene. And then
yeah,
that guy asked, "Can I flirt with Moxie?" Yeah, absolutely.
it can be bigger or smaller. I guess my point is, depending on where the story ends, like we have to end the book in a nice way to end a book. You know what I mean? Like it has to make logical sense. So
Right, you don't want to do the cliffhanger and then solve the cliffhanger and then say, "Guess
or like
this next
or
time."
like you don't even get up to
Episode.
like a tease, like absolutely no payoff. I mean, you need like some degree of payoff, you know what I mean? And you know, tease what is happening in the next one essentially. Yeah, and this is also a good idea too. You can always do more 2-page spreads, which adds more pages. Yeah, that's a good point too. But we actually have a lot of story to tell. So if not this one, then the next one, I guess.
Yeah, Simenon 7. Am I saying that right? Simenon 7.
Sure.
That rolls off the tongue nice. Simenon 7. What's the significance of that, Simenon? But yeah, I did have. There were several pages that were one page when I started them, and I looked at Clint and said, "This is too much to get." So let's just. But then you always got to keep in mind that you can't have a 2-page spread, then a single page, then a 2-page spread.
Right. Yeah. The page turns matter, but we'll there'll be opportunities for us to add more pages. But just so everyone knows, like that's the kind of it is very time intensive for Charlie to be doing pages. And so it's like we got to make sure that
I'm getting
he's getting
faster.
That's good.
We designed the world. So I'm sort of, as I'm going forward now, the world is there. There's sort of no more questions. I can't wait to get them down into the back alleys.
Yeah.
All that's way easier than because the whole front end, he's on the barge, and it's a little surreal because he's in the barge and the city's far away. So it could. I always want that to be simpler, but I'm always redesigning the tech on the side of the barge and the people in the room and the costumes in the room. Once we get them down into the back alleyways, then back alleyways look like back alleyways.
You can,
no matter where you are.
You can always skip ahead too, right? If you want to. I know some artists, you know, it's like skip around. You did a little bit of that, right? But
yeah. I'll go forward to the back alleyways because what is it Jim Kelly in Enter the Dragon? He says a ghetto's a ghetto wherever you go, and he's in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
and he recognizes the ghetto. So they're going to be in the back alley sort of ghettos of what's the name of the city that we're in?
The planet is Thandril.
Yeah, what's the city?
Well, I just figured it was, to me, the city is the planet. Like it's one city on this planet. That's what I figured.
Okay, a little Coruscant.
Yeah, like just one big city
City planet.
It's ruled by the one monarch. I mean, it's all
Fosca.
obviously up for debate, but
Fosca.
yeah.
She sounds Italian. Fosca.
She could, or I was like even Russian almost, depending on how you say it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she's a Cossack.
Yeah,
my kids know who Cossacks are because we had no intention of this. They were both dressed up like Batman and Catwoman the other day. My wife, I don't know why it happened, but they decided they wanted to be Batman and Catwoman for Halloween. And the costumes arrived on, I didn't know this, I saw Brett Booth's Twitter feed. It was Batman Day yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know
Booth
that.
was posting, it was Batman Day. And my kids were running around as Batman and Catwoman on Batman Day, unintended. There was nothing lined up about that. It was just as happenstance. And what was my point? Oh, so we watch the cartoon. They're 6 and 4, so the cartoon from the 90s is a little tough for the 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And all the movies are out of reach. But the Adam West 1966 might be. It's not only the greatest show for kids. It might be the greatest show of all time for a family to watch together.
Yeah.
Because the kids are watching and thinking, this is Batman. This is cool.
Yeah.
The parents are watching it. My wife is looking at me thinking, this is the funniest show ever created. It's the funniest anything. It's so brilliant.
Do you have it like on DVD or something? Where are you watching?
It's not streaming anywhere. I bought it on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And there is a whole... It is the Vincent Price when he's Egghead, and the lady, I forget her name, and Batman and Robin, they're fighting the Cossacks. It is a specific type of Russian jewelry, as far as I know. I'm thinking, my kids know who the Cossacks are. It's so strange. It's so weird.
That's funny.
It's the best show of all time. Anybody out there with kids listening?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good old stuff.
And it's all wholesome. There's nothing out of line. I mean, even when it's romantic stuff and Adam West is either floating with Eartha Kitt or Julie Mayweather, Julie Newmar.
Yeah.
And and the first Catwoman is the hottest.
I don't remember any of their names, but I know who's talking.
Well, all the Simpsons fans out there, when Adam West appears on The Simpsons, he says, Michelle Pfeiffer, or I didn't need molded plastic to make my body look good. And we all know the real Catwoman is Lee Merriweather, Julie Newmar, and Eartha Kitt. Those are the 3 Catwomen. And they really are. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And when he flirts with him and they imply romance, it's always so... It's the romance sex.
Yeah.
And then and he's sitting there and his eyes roll back in his head. It's so perfect. I love it.
Yeah. Love it. Let me get this stretch goal here before I forget. So 60,000, we're adding, I sent out the update and I didn't put it in the campaign. Boomer. Here we go. It's in the updates. I'll put it on the campaign page too. All right. 70,000 stretch goal. This is what everyone gets. Everyone was saying,
are we there?
Do stuff to the book. No, we're at 63, but 70,000 is the next stretch goal. We've been doing these every 10,000. So in this case, as promised, we extend the campaign for an additional 30 days. That's what we did. Next, we're upgrading the print quality of the books. The stretch goal is going to include a lot. So first is upgraded cover stock. I didn't write down, this was my problem with Downcast, is I gave you a specific cover stock. That doesn't mean that's the best cover stock. I'm physically going to the printer this week to look at paper stocks and talk to the professionals. And I think it'll be better. I'm going to pick something very, very nice. I want these to be nice. Probably matte though, or satin. I want to look at both. I just think they look better. Isn't that what you said too, Charlie? Like matte covers better than gloss?
I always prefer matte.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's a matte finish or a matte Weldon, I always prefer a matte.
Matte. It's nice. So then I put, we're going to get 80-pound or 100-pound or 2 100-pound paper stock. That's because I've done 100-pound. It's kind of thick, and I don't know that it's necessarily better when it's that thick. 80-pound is still very thick paper. So again, I want to go and just look and talk to the professionals, and I'll make an executive decision. But I'm kind of leaning toward moving it down to 80-pound. Even though I know I don't remember who it was. Was it Jasper? Was saying that 100-pound was awesome and he liked it.
Really?
It's nice, but it is really, really thick. So matte finish for the covers, satin finish for interior pages. Interior pages, everyone's doing glossy, but I'll tell you, reading comics to me is so much better.
You can't see it.
You can't. You're good, Charlie. Satin finish. It's so nice to have matte pages. The ones they got at API, it was not a straight up matte. They called it it was like some kind of hybrid between matte and it was basically a fancy word for satin. That's my understanding. So I'm going to go to this new printer as to what they call satin. I'm going to double check it and see how it is. But it's just going to make for some really readable paper. You can read those pages without that gloss glaring back at you. And it's nice. It's quality. Make up for a really nice book. Spread the word. Okay. So that's a stretch goal.
I never understood anytime somebody has nice art and they put it in their house and they put the glass over it. And now you've run into the problem of, well, I can't see it. You put glare in front of everything I'm trying to look at. Any glossy page finish is just, I mean, maybe in the 90s when people were saying, look at our fancy comic book, it's glossy. And I would look at it and think, I can't read it. Am I the dummy that can't read things now?
No, I'm the same way. The thing about gloss is it does make your blacks look blacker. That would be so like it's very noticeable when I have like the spot gloss UV stuff going on. The blacks look blacker in my opinion because with the matte you kind of have it's almost cloudy just slightly, but it looks so nice and it just makes it more readable. So yeah, I like it better than glossy, but we're gonna go that direction. That's the stretch goal. 70K is only 7,000 away, right? Yeah, 63 less than 7,000 away. I'm gonna post a link here. If you have backed the campaign, I love you. I really appreciate you. And something that you can do is just try and keep people interested in knowing about the campaign. Sharing it on social media is helpful. If you have a YouTube channel, we get on a lot of streams, but it's even something that people overlook is the fact that you can make a regular video and talk about the book. And that way it's not a matter of lining up schedules or anything like that, but you can actually, just even do a regular video and just put a little ad in just like I do for my videos. That's a great way to help if if it doesn't work out timing wise to have us on your stream. That's super helpful if that's what your goal is just to help the campaign. We've almost sold 800 of these wraparound covers just straight up that I never in my life. That is a ton of books, like single books that are shipping out in individual mailers. That's so many books. That's wild just for the one tier. I love that.
Well, I saw Ethan's doing it for Warts and All now, right? He's doing a wraparound.
Oh, he is. So, yes, that's right.
I don't want to say I'm a trendsetter or a taste maker, but I did spot that's how images post in Twitter and that's how images display in YouTube. And that's how it's no longer a book sitting on a shelf. It's the horizontal method that is how you see stuff. I mean, my only regret is that I look back at the video, the coming attraction, and you zoomed in on the point of, because you're talking about the city, and I understand why you did it, but you zoomed in on that city portion that Vaughn said, work on the city part. I said, yeah, right.
Oh, you know what though?
It's the part of the book that I intended that people would write blurbs over. Whether it was it would be where not Johnny Phantasm. What's that guy's real name? Patrick would say, I love books, and this is the book I wish they made toys of because I love toys and books. So,
to be fair, so Vaughn, I put pictures in, and I said, "Can you move these around and stuff?" And so he edited them and zoomed in, And so he actually specifically chose the city spot to zoom in on. So that's
And
that
then
is
he
kind
chose
of
the
fun.
other city spot, which is just a corner of the other picture. Oh no, he's zooming in on these pictures.
It's all setting the stage. Someday, like, I don't know, in future books, I'd love to get somebody that's really good at motion graphics stuff. I loved editing the audio personally. I wanted to keep doing the audio for future trailers, kind of writing it and doing the audio, lining it up. Obviously, probably not speaking it. I'll get Vaughn or someone else to do that. But lining it up, I love that. But having somebody else do the motion graphics and everything to make it look just professional, that would be the goal someday. So DJ2K Comics for $2, thank you very much, says, will the head sketch be in the book or separate? It will be separate. So you can hang it up. You'll get a book still. You'll get a book shipped with it. But your head sketch will it'll be on I think with 9x6 Bristol board is what we were saying. Just let me double check.
DJ2K, are you a big Derek Jeter fan from the year 2000? That was a great year for Derek Jeter.
We'll find out here. It's a 6x9 6x9 Bristol board, and that way you can put it in your book if you want to and leave it there, or you can hang it up on the wall. I kind of like that option because I'd love to, if you have original art, it's kind of nice to hang it up on the wall. So thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, DJ2K.
Yeah. 18 of those have sold so far, so that's been great. And let's see. We still have two cameos left. And then there are the
Why are we limiting them? What's the point of the limit?
To make them scarce. they're kind of a pain too. I've done
for
8,
me,
I think,
to draw people in.
Well, if you fit them around, just fitting them around the store, you could probably do it. Me and Nacho had a hard time finding places for people to be where they were prominent enough that you would notice them. But it wouldn't, but they fit into the story nicely, I guess.
I used to draw people at kids' birthday parties. This is all, and not only that, when I was young doing that and drawing kids at kids' birthday parties and painting faces, I thought this is awful. And then I worked in commercial art, and I always thought I'd rather go back to the kids' birthday parties. At least they enjoyed what I was doing. And now this is sort of splitting the difference. This is commercial somewhat, but we're having a good time.
Yeah,
and people are involved. You might as well sell that as a tier. Do you want Charlie to come to your house and paint on your face? I will come to your house and paint on your face.
They'll love it.
So you got to spring for the plane ticket and where you put me, where I'm staying there. You got to pay for my booze, and I eat a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers, and I'm a little bit like a foie gras goose. There'll be a lot of eating to the point where I will die from eating because I'm so dumb and fat and drunk that I'll just expire on the table as you're pumping delicious things into my liver.
Doesn't that sound like fun? Everybody, backers.
That's right. This is I'm getting weirder because I watch Dune. I'm actually getting weirder as I'm talking because I watched Dune and I was thinking about Kelsey's video. If he's out there, Kelsey watches a lot of your videos. If you're out there, Kelsey, come in and explain to me why Dune is good. I was watching it. It's terrible.
Kelsey's the man. Let me say one thing about Kelsey Shannon too. And I don't want to get too far into this, but people reaching out like, hey man, Kelsey, he talked to a certain person he talked to JDA on stream. I did an interview with him. That's a problem. I love Kelsey. I've got, everyone can talk to whomever they want. That to me is perfection, is just talk to whoever you want on stream. So please don't be concerned. It's all good. Yeah, please don't be concerned.
What is it the saying? Sunlight is the best antiseptic.
Exactly.
Get everybody's ideas out there. There's nobody I wouldn't talk to. I mean, my whole life has been talking to Marxists and socialists and artsy weirdos and people pitching strange ideas and in weird meetings. And when I got out of school, I mean, you talk to everybody. And the idea is that Kelsey's a good guy and Clint's a good guy with good ideas. Maybe not me. I mean, I'd be a good guy with good ideas. You get Clint or Kelsey talking to people, then they dissuade them from their bad ideas. And it's in the talking to a Kelsey or a Clint where somebody says, maybe I had this whole thing wrong, and then that's you persuade people to be better rather than isolating them in the chamber. What's your plan? Fire them into the sun where no one ever talks to them ever again? No, you got to talk to them. So that goofy bastard, the goofy SOB. I've never heard of that guy.
It doesn't matter. So here's the thing too. And Roland, this is in quotes, so I'm taking that this is not. But this is always the thing people say: giving platforms to radical people is dangerous. Yeah, I so much disagree with that.
Well, that's why he's saying it like that.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with Roland here, but he's totally right. Is you talk to people, and I'll tell you, when I first started this channel, I was desperately trying to talk to anybody on, the other side, the like SJW side, anybody that would talk to me on stream, and we could just like, where exactly is the difference? Because I feel like if we talk about it, we would actually, I talk to a lot of people that have very different political opinions in real life, and usually it's like, we agree to disagree on these few things or whatever. It's really hard to be like, I hate you and I want you to die face to face. So
that's right.
That can happen, I guess. But yes, but I'll tell you, like, I talk to all sorts of people, and I'd love to get some people that disagree with on that kind of stuff, so maybe self-proclaimed SJWs on and talk, and not even necessarily debate, but just like contrast ideas, but I'm afraid, like, I don't know, sometimes
get the great dialectic rolling. That's the idea, right?
Exactly.
Hail chat sketch therapy. We love you. Jasper Plan 9, Green Laser, Resident Antagonist.
Yeah.
Supply from me. Reagan Lodge. Is that where the gay Republicans go? The Reagan Lodge? Or is it the Lincoln Lodge? What does that mean?
Reagan Lodge is he's an artist, man. I don't know. Reagan has a book. I don't know if he has a book out or he's got a book coming out.
But I mean, bring everybody in. Bring Scott Snyder, badmouth all these nice people that we talk to and we interact with, and it's only here that Clint with his vision and the Charlie Snogans, who nobody's ever heard of. Clint has had 2 successful campaigns. Charlie Snogans, no one has ever heard of.
Charlie, you've had one very successful camp where it's not even over and it's already
saying this, it's only through this where Clint and I met heads and put this out into the ether, and now we could talk about it, and the fine people here that can make this possible, and we're gonna hit 6 figures, that we can even say, hey, Scott Snyder, stop bad-mouthing nice people. You full-size man with a dwarf head, stop bad-mouthing nice people who all they want to say is, we want nice comic books, not politics. I mean, he does have a dwarf head, right? He's a full-grown. He's probably taller than me and you. He's probably taller than me and you combined. It doesn't change the fact that he has a dwarf head. I know dwarves who don't have dwarf heads. They're, that's how it works. That's a full-grown man with a dwarf head. It's a little strange.
I've never seen him in person, so I don't know.
On people. Come on.
I think I've seen him with the other Batman writer, Tom King, in an interview standing next to each other. And I want to say that Tom King was taller, but it was a while ago, so I can't exactly remember. But the Green Laser said, did you get tired of beating your head against the wall? Yeah, so that's the other half of the story, is asking people on the other side to come on stream and just talk about it. And like, I was even like, it's not a debate. Like, there's no gotchas. I just genuinely want to know what your opinion is and like how like, come on, seriously, you don't like America Chavez. Like, we can agree that's just a terrible book. You just feel like you have to say that you like it because we don't like it. You know what I mean?
Who even says they like it? Does anyone say they like it?
You could find people they're going to go out of their way to try and defend other characters, but they will not criticize it, even though it's a terrible book. They won't criticize it publicly anyway.
All I know about it is Zach's videos. I mean, and then my neighbor, yeah, through the grapevine, I was talking to people who worked at one time or another at Marvel, and she shared my complaints. She and I don't want to give any away who they are. Shared my complaints. He's terrified of the Whisper Network. Snyder didn't attack us. He's terrified of the Whisper Network. Everybody is.
That's the essence of the problem, is that they're afraid, and they're
not for anybody just listening. I always
right.
I almost can't listen to Zach's videos when I'm working because they're all visual and verbal. Jasper Plan 9. Snyder didn't attack us. He's terrified of the Whisper Network. Is that the extent? He never said bad things about Comicsgate and everybody in our hat group. It is a hat group. It's misspelled.
I lose track of stuff, and it's not that important. But to me, the Whisper Network stuff, like the fact that people are afraid to have opinions or to say something because there is a Whisper Network that will enforce it. You know what I mean? That's the problem. I think there are probably more people that would be willing to say, like, yeah, you know, I do have some problems with the direction that Marvel went. You know, they just did such heavy-handed initiatives to try and have diversity, and people didn't like it on either side. But you had to pretend like you liked it because the Whisper Network would enforce it. And if you said you didn't like it, then they would say you're Comicsgate. And then that's essentially saying you're part of a hate group or whatever other nonsense they've got, you know, lined up with it.
That's silly.
It is silly.
Words. And typically, whenever people say it's they add gate to anything to make it sound as though it were a scandal.
Scandal. Yeah.
Right. What was the video game gate?
Gamergate. All
the scandals get gate, but this one actually makes sense because it's you could say it's people, you know, opening the gate, and you go out the gate and you leave and you go and you make the things that they're not making, right? So
gate in a different sense.
In a completely different sense, not Watergate. Yeah. I mean, Watergate's the founding idea. Right. All of this naming comes from, and every time anybody named it, you know, it's I mean, how many different scandals? Anybody in the chat, name all the different gates. It's all this nonsense, all these goofy things that they name, Pretzelgate.
It's endless. It's unfortunate because I think it's a silly. Just like for branding reasons, it seems silly. I mean, but you can't. It is.
But for this branding, I don't mind it because
right.
I used to buy Marvel books, but I opened the gate and walked out and said, "No thanks, no thanks anymore. I'll go buy Downcast and Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers and Fatal and Monster MD and Battle Brick Road and, you know, the Stars, Impossible Stars." That's what I'll buy now.
As far as breaking into comics goes, like they used to say, like, the gate will be closed. I think that's Mark Waid's quote. Actually, is the first one that said it. But there's only, as soon as you find a way to break into comics, the gate will be closed. It's like breaking out of prison or something. I wrote his quote, but yeah, like you're gonna break in one way, and then everybody else is gonna try to get in that way, and you can't because it's been done. So you gotta find another way. And what I love, especially about Charlie and I, what we're doing is we're guys that don't have work in the industry. We don't have experience in the mainstream industry. We haven't worked for Marvel or DC or Image or any other publisher for that matter, but we have still found a way to successfully make comics at a professional level. That's that really is it's amazing. I think there are others too. You know, your boy Zach is, for example, he didn't work for Marvel or DC, but he did it. Sketch Therapy does say, I like being very upfront when it comes to the feedback loop. I think, agree or not, people like to see that it's an option. When a wild sketch appears, you know you are as free as he. Yeah, I do appreciate Sketch. Most of the time I have no idea what, you know, you're addressing specific things. I have no idea what you're talking about. But I know
Sketch
that
Therapy.
you say what you mean.
He says what he means, but I think he's a Hotep. I think is what is and the
Yeah,
Hotep method is if you can leave complete politics out or all the trappings of the context, the Hotep idea is you make it yourself. You do it your own way. You don't need all the other walls. You don't need all the other trappings. You don't need other people's construct that has come up around you. You do it yourself. And so Hotep Nation, we salute you. And Comicsgate is sort of the same thing. Right? Sketch? Did I just say that properly?
I've got to watch this Hotep channel because I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Hoteps are great. Hotep Jesus, Uncle Hotep, they're fantastic. And I think I mentioned it once somewhere to Sketch, and he said he was Hotep as well.
Yeah.
And from his picture, I think he also was Hotep and build. That's right. I said it properly. Thank you, Hotep. Charlie Gate.
Charlie,
who said Charlie Gate?
Sci-fi for me. Are you gonna start a scandal? You never know with Charlie, man. He could get scandalous. I don't know. Does anybody care about looking at? We're pretty much done, I guess, with the trend lines. I guess there wasn't all that much to say, but we did start out talking about it. I think I made my point. My point is that none of this really matters. Essentially, everybody wants to know how much they can make in crowdfunding if they have enough, if they have enough of a mailing list ahead of time. I've given you opinions in my hard and fast rules on how to have, I think, a successful campaign, but that doesn't mean that you can't have, you can't start with less. I really wouldn't, or you can't, be successful, or you can't start with a lot more and not be successful. I think it's totally possible. I just don't know. There's so many variables. It's really hard.
You need a lot. There's moving parts, right? You need the platform.
Yeah,
the platform is solid. You need. Go ahead.
Platform. You need to be speaking about it well in advance. Like, to me, at least 6 months ahead of time, people should know that it's coming down the pipe. And obviously you're gonna be building your audience at the same time, but people have got to know about it. It can't be a surprise, and it's gonna, it took everyone by surprise and now they're backing it. That's not really how it works. They should know about it so far in advance that it's coming, and then you have new stuff to show on launch day. But you gotta have that stuff down ahead of time. Having said that, so Richard always says that he's guaranteed he's going to launch a campaign that just doesn't do well, and he's going to shut it down and pull the plug. Whatever that magic number is that he can't, if he doesn't reach something because that individual campaign, he'll close it down. That tells me that even though he has the platform and all of this experience now, he's still planning on there being a flop based off of, you just don't know, what's going to happen. So,
everything's always, the future's uncertain and the end is always near. Everybody tell me the quote. Right? You just got to keep rolling, right? Yeah. You got to keep plugging away. And, I talk about Bruce Lee a lot. I'm sorry, but he always said, if you express yourself honestly, then you express yourself honestly. And that's how you do it, right? So, no lies. You just make the best book you've got and
Yeah.
you push it out there and tell as many people about it. And
Roland says that Richard's limit is under 2,000 backers. Man, I'm glad. I've never had over 2,000 backers. That's crazy. I really hope we get there with this campaign. It's totally possible. That's a good goal, but
I think that is the goal, right? 2,000 backers.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the goal. 2,000 backers. We're at 1,217 right now. Speaking of, if you haven't backed Fatal yet, it's a good time to do so. Check it out. Let me post the link. Oh, I did post the link, so we're good. Guys, I'm really proud of this book. I think because especially we're hitting these stretch goals, it's very satisfying to see that people are excited about the project. And when they're backing the project with this kind of enthusiasm, it just helps us to make the best book that we can make. And so, I think you're going to love this book. I think this is going to be one that you're going to want on your shelf. Not only that, but you're going to want to go back and look at it again and again. And that to me what a great comic is made out of. So if you have backed it, we still have ways that you can support. I think the easiest way is a t-shirt. Right here, $25 gets you a t-shirt. If you're international, I'm sorry. I do have a link for international backers. You can get a t-shirt. I just kind of messed up, and so I can't add it to this tier, but just let me know. You can email me or just let me in the chat, and I'll get you just a link to the secret perk. It's exactly the same thing, but it just is listed that it can ship internationally, and it has obviously shipping costs associated with it. But you can get the t-shirt. You can get also this print pack right here. There's still 95 of them left. They're 11 by 17 prints. There are 5 of them, and they all come signed and numbered by Charlie Snogans. Head sketch is another great option. Or if you want to get drawn into the book, though this does include all the other goodies as well that you would get in the collector's bundles. So very proud of this book, and I think people are going to dig it when they get it. It'll be good.
I see Chuck Reardon's here. Condolences, yeah. Chuck. I just saw he posted he lost a brother.
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry about that, Chuck.
Only guarantees, yeah.
Death in Texas. That's true.
Were you twins? And now, can you impersonate him?
That's really maybe too soon.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Got in on day one, Reagan. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Charlie.
It's terribly insensitive. When I lost my mother a few months ago, and I remember they put her in she was in the casket, and she used to always make fun of people in photos who did duck lips. You pose for pictures of duck lips, and there I was sitting in the funeral parlor looking at her, and I thought, look what they did to her. They gave her duck lips. This is the worst irony of all time at the viewing. Somebody said, this lady hates duck lips. Let's do it. And they embalmed her to give her duck lips.
The total irony.
Damn you!
Speaking of YouTube channel, there's this one weird one, mortuary ask a mortician, I think. I got sucked in and I watched like 30 videos from this lady mortician, and her videos are so entertaining. And part of it, though, a big part is that she just has such a dark humor. And I've met a few, like the college I work at, they've got a mortuary school. And every time I meet one of those guys, they're so funny. They have like, I don't know, a dark sense of humor, but yeah, they're really funny. But anyway, her channel was so entertaining because she'd even go over like famous disasters like the Titanic, or like, people getting lost, or cannibalism, or all sorts of crazy ways that people died. And then she went over like the specifics with what happened during death and all that kind of stuff. Is really interesting. And I don't know, it's just one of those weird things that don't interest me whatsoever, but she did a great job with the YouTube channel and presenting it. So I watched it. It was good. Anyway.
Well, our heart goes out to you, Chuck Reardon. We know you're
absolutely
the man's man, and
he's a positive guy, of course.
Are you?
Yeah,
Is Chuck Reardon a young man for your brother to go? Are you under 60 and something happened?
age docs. Come on, Chuck.
Yeah,
We
tells your
wanna
age.
we gotta know.
I'm 42 and feeling it. It was right at 42 that I thought I've lost all energy and I'm running out of gas. Every day I draw anything, I'm
That,
running out of gas.
no,
To be under 60 and lose somebody, then there's something. Uh, that's too soon.
yeah.
60 and up, you go, oh, that happens sometimes. Over 70 in this society, still too soon. Once you're over that, you go, okay, they were older. But
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up. Resident Antagonist is saying the hour grows late. I'm out. It is kind of late, but I appreciate everybody for checking in. My metabolism stopped at 32 or 34. Now that's the tragedy that I think just keeps on giving. We'll follow up here with Chuck. He said he was younger than me. I'm 50. He was 47. Oh man, I'm really sorry to hear
that's
that.
too young, man.
Sorry for your loss, man. But yeah, we're going to get off the stream and I'll be back tomorrow with a regular video. Whether or not there's comic book industry news that I care to talk about, we could talk about writing or something like that. But I will have a video tomorrow. And I'm streaming tomorrow night, I think, on with Peter Samedi, I think, Tuesday night, or is that Wednesday night? I think it's Tuesday night. But I'll tweet it out for sure. And I'll be around streaming. So appreciate you all. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Chuck, to your brother.